Hello, everyone, and thank you for your time. My name is Bastian Elfert. I'm with Openness App. Personally, I'm in sales and pre-sales, and I would really like to tell you some facts about our solution. I'm pretty sure that most of you have worked with Openness App before. So I'm basically going to focus on security features and administration features. Now, as a quick reminder, as you all know, Openness App is a solution with which you can instantly share data, structured data, and what you get is a whole lot of different apps and bots and ways to share your data on different platforms. We have a very, very quick reminder here. So basically on the left side, as you can see, what Openness App does is it enables your business experts, the people in your departments, like your controllers or your salespeople or your marketing people, to actually build apps themselves without the involvement of the IT. And they can then use the Openness App cloud service to create apps and then use them immediately and roll them out, share them with team members, clients, or partners immediately. And I'm going to talk about this a little later on, but it's quite important that this also works, of course, with your data on premises, which is quite important. Our creation service is in the cloud, but you can use your data or leave your data in the cloud of your own choice, your own cloud, or on premises. So let's just remember what the problem is, why you are here right now, and what the problem is that we want to solve. Basically, nowadays, if you don't build an app for a problem, if you don't have a native app built by an external software development company, for example, or your own IT for a certain use case, then you end up using Excel. Basically, in order to solve your problems with logic, in order to build dashboards, or to share data, many people use Excel all the time. And Excel is fantastic. It's a great tool. Everybody knows how to use it, which is a huge advantage. But it does have a lot of drawbacks, and some of those are that the files that you share then and that you're working with are not secure, and the IT department has no idea how to control this Excel jungle, right? Also, you never know which version you're working with if you're not, using SharePoint or something like that, and it just might be outdated. There are different versions, of course, and if you take a look at the Excel example on the right side there, these things are extremely complicated sometimes, many tabs, most of the time you need a PowerPoint presentation or something like that, besides your Excel sheet in order to explain to your users how to use your Excel. And of course, there's no way of writing back, right? So you cannot just use it and then your changes are immediately visible for everybody. No, you have to mail it again, and then some of the users will not have your changes, and it's just a mess, right? And it's useless on mobile. So that's where we come from. We want to help you stop losing time and money. And our platform now helps you turn this structured data of yours in your Excel sheet, for example, like this list on the left side, into beautiful apps that work really efficiently, that hide everything that is not to be seen by your user from the user, that give you the possibility to roll this out once, this app, and then just automatically update. So there are not different versions and you don't have the old data. You always have the recent data. These apps are very, very easy to use in comparison to those huge Excel files that you're usually rolling out to people. And you can write back. So if you have changes that you would like to be made and you only have the app, it's no problem. You can enable the possibility to make changes from the client, and your user will be able to, for example, in this scenario here that you're seeing, change addresses without a problem. You can also make sure that certain users only see certain apps, and for example, if somebody leaves your company, you will be able to withdraw those user rights so they cannot use your data or see your data anymore after leaving the company. That's of course not possible nowadays when you use Excel sheets. I, for example, I admit I still have some Excel sheets from my old work on my computer, and that just shouldn't be possible in an enterprise. As I said, you can also leave your data again, if you use an Excel sheet on premises, so you don't have to mail anything around, you don't have to leave anything in the cloud. You just leave your Excel sheet and that only one version of your Excel sheet on your server, and then you, for example, with an HTTP server, you just share it from there. And there's only one version. That's very important. And you, the expert, work with it. Everybody else just accesses the data with the app. And of course, it's important to note again that your users will only see the apps that they're supposed to see, and they will only see those aspects of your data source that they're supposed to see, which makes it easier for them to work with your data and also, hides confidential stuff and stuff they're just not supposed to see from them. I have been talking about Excel quite a bit, and I think most of you will already know that we know how to work with a huge number of different data sources, not just Excel. Excel is fantastic because everybody knows how to use it. But still, most of you will be using some kind of database. We support just about every SQL database or some kind of system like Salesforce, SAP, Dynamics, what have you. And we are able to connect to all those data sources. And the best thing, we don't just access and display that data. We can also write back into the data source if you want that to be possible. So you could, for example, make changes and on your client device, which could be an iPhone, it could be an iPad, it could be your Windows 10 PC, could be anything. And then if you make those changes, you can write back into your SQL database immediately. What's kind of special about us, and what we think only we can do, is we can actually recognize and use the logic that you implement in your Excel sheet if you use Excel. If you use a database, of course, you're only using a list of data, basically. But in this scenario that you're seeing here on the left side, for example, you have a table that is recalculated all the time using formulas, right? If you change something, in this case, the month, everything else changes accordingly. Everything is interdependent. Also, there are graphics in there that you built yourself because it's so easy to build them in Excel. You build it yourself, and they are changing as well whenever the month changes in this scenario. And that kind of thing can be easily done with Openness App. And you can build a fantastic app, interdependent cells. Everything reacts, refreshes automatically. Very, very powerful stuff. And as far as we know, this is only possible with Openness App. The interesting thing here is that, of course, there is no coding required. Since you do this in Excel, the logic is completely defined. All the formulas are in place. There is no need to involve your IT department. Just use the Excel sheets that you already have in your departments on your computers and turn them into smart smartphone apps. Now, before I get into the security discussion, let me just show you how to do that. And let me talk a little bit about the administration of professional apps. Now, I'm just going to go to a website here, opennessapp.net, and then click on the Create button. And there I am going to build an app for you. On this screen here, this would be the start of our wizard of the creation process. What you would have to do here as a consumer would be just upload your Excel file here. That's, of course, in an enterprise context, not what you want to do. What you want to do is basically either leave your data in the cloud of your choice. That would be either Dropbox, for example, or your SharePoint Online. You could also use Google Sheets. Or if you want to leave your data on premise, you just paste the URL to your file here. In that scenario, you would, for example, use your on-premises SharePoint or your HTTP file server, or you can click here and connect our wizard to your data source, be it some kind of SQL database or Salesforce or whatever you're using. Now, I'm going to use one of our sample files here, and you can try those out yourself if you want to. And I'm gonna first start off with a list, with a simple list. There's nothing in there, no formulas, just a flat list of data, something that could be coming from your database or from your system that you're using. And now the analysis takes a little while. And at first, it gives us some information of what it found, what the server found in this sheet. We can take a look at the data here, right? So it's basically just address data, some colleagues of ours, some sales figures, and links to pictures because we want to have their portraits in the app later on. And I'm going to say, yes, that's the sheet I want to work with. Now it's analyzing the sheet again, and it's going to give us some intelligent suggestions. Basically, what you're looking at here is every single tile here is a subset of the features that Openness App has to offer. You can still use the entire set of features that we offer, but basically, when you opt to choose one of these here, you choose a coherent set of features that might be fitting to the use case that you have in mind. In this case, contact list is correct. That's the first suggestion. And I'm going to say, okay, I want to use that one. I can still come back later and get all the details from all the other possibilities and all the other features. Now, at this point here, we have a pretty good first guess. The app already looks very much the way we want it to look. Now, we can go ahead and customize. It's not necessary to do that, but I'm just going to show you what that looks like real quick. So in a second, we're in this view here where we can actually do things like, for example, rearrange the elements of the app. So as you can see here, it's all drag and drop. This box that I'm grabbing onto right now, that's image, and that's of course this row here. As you can see here, it's highlighted, and now it's in third position. It used to be in first position. So just by dragging and dropping, you can change the position of certain elements of your app. And then, of course, at the right side here, you can see if I click on this, you get a bunch of different data types that you can select. So, for example, in this case, text is correct because first name is a kind of text. But if you have a number, that could be a phone number. Like in this example here. And if you choose phone number as the data type, you will be able to make phone calls from your app later on. So that's a fantastic feature that really enriches your app. The same is true for map information. So if you have addresses in your app or coordinates, we will, if you choose the right data type, later on be able to actually visualize your contacts in your list as a map. Okay, let's say we are happy with our app for now. Then I say next. And then we put together a number of different themes in advance, and you can do the same. So it would only take you 10 minutes or something like that to put together a theme that looks the way it should look, depending on your corporate identity and the colors of your company. You could have something like this, where it has your company logo here on top, and the colors are your company colors. So let's just pick one of these and then go ahead. And then in this step here, you can do just about anything you want with the app. This is very, very flexible. Since we're in an enterprise webinar here, I would like to show you what we're actually doing the whole time. You can take a look at the actual XML configuration here, okay? So this is what we're doing right now. We're just clicking around with our mouse and just dragging and dropping things. But basically what we're doing is defining XML. But you shouldn't worry about that. And we, of course, don't want you to be to be coding any code, right? That's not necessary. All you have to worry about is basically just this here. Okay, so let's say we're happy with our app for now. Then the first time we actually have to touch the keyword would be this step here where you name the app, and then we say create, and that's the whole process. If I hadn't been talking, this would have been done in probably one minute or so. Now you might have heard it already. I got a notification on my phone, and I can start using the app right now. You can scan this QR code and use the app right away. Now, I figure that most of you have done this already, so I'm not going to demonstrate the app to you. What I would like to show you is something else. I would like to show you how to invite people to your app and how to roll it out immediately. In order to do that, we just click on this option here, invite people. As you know, you can always go back into your app, into the administration page of your app, and then invite people or groups of people. And it's taking a little time to load. This might be a little slower than usual because of the webinar where I'm sharing my screen right now. Now, as you can see here, right now, there are, of course, no people invited to our app because we just built it. You can see here that the status of our app is private mode. Private mode means that this app is restricted and only people that we invite to the app are able to actually access and see and find the app. We can also change this mode to public. If you click on this little button here, you have three options. If you change it to public, everybody will be able to see and find the app. So you could, for example, do this if you're planning to advertise something, one of your products maybe, or you just want to give general information about your company to the public. In that case, you could just set it to public. For now, we're going to leave it in private mode, and the invitation process is extremely simple. Basically, you just have to enter the email address here. You can also batch invite people by just pasting a big number of different email addresses in here and then click invite. So as you can see here, we have different teams here that we could invite, and all those teams contain different numbers of members. This is, of course, these are the members that we have already invited at some point. And as you can see, it's a pretty big number in our case. And below here, there are some individuals with email addresses, and up here, we have some groups. So let me just show you how to invite. I'm going to invite myself, and there I have already invited myself before, so I can just add me, clicking clicking on the plus symbol, and then I'm going to hit enter. Okay, so I accidentally invited a group here. Don't want to do that. And then I can just invite by clicking there. And now in a second, these invitations are going to show up. I'm going to delete this one immediately. And they're showing up here. So basically, you will gradually build up a list of invited people down here. And I already received an email. I heard the notification on my phone. And there I can accept the invitation, and you start using the app right away. Now, as you can see here, there is a little icon that if I hover over it, tells me, okay, this person can use the app. Now let's click on that. So we have three options here. The person that I invited can use the app. The person can see the app configuration. That means that I can use the app, and I can also see how it was built and what the settings of the app are. And then the person can edit the app. That, of course, means I can use it, I can see the configuration, and I can edit it as well. So I'm going to click on that, and now I'm going to be sent a different invitation with different user rights. If you set your app to public, you can also access. I'm going to do that real quick. I'm just going to set it to public. And then in social share, you have different options. You can, for example, send the URL to people to this app so they can just click on the URL and then start using the app. Or you could give them this QR code, or of course use all those social media sharing options. So that's basically how you share the app and roll it out to your colleagues. As I mentioned, you can also just paste a bunch of different email addresses there. And I talked about groups. So up here on the left side, you can click on this little menu, and I'm going to show you how to create groups or how to administer them. In order to do that, you want to go to this users section here, and I'm just going to discard the changes that I made to our app here, and we're going to go to this users section. Now there we first have some team info. This is loading because we have a huge number of apps with a huge number of users. So let's just go to the members section there. And there you can see all the people that were invited specifically to our apps in this demo account. And then you have a section where you have the groups that you invited or that you built. Now let's just click on our developers here, for example. And if you take a look at this group, you can see, okay, these people are part of the development team, and these are the people that you would invite to certain apps if you invited this hub or this group of people. And you can define guests as well. So temporary people who are invited to apps, and you can of course import and export a certain list of people that you would like to invite. And also, as you probably already know, we can connect to your Active Directory, so you don't really have to do all this. This can be imported automatically from your Active Directory. I just quickly want to show you one more little thing in order to show you the other app that I would like to build. I'm just going to go back to the app creator, and there I'm going to access the sample files again. And now I would just like to build one more app, a little app, and that's called License Calculator. I'm again going to click on Use. And now basically what I'm doing is again uploading an Excel sheet, this time with logic, that is to say formulas in it, and some graphics. Okay, so here in the analysis section, it tells us, okay, if I found some charts here, I can click on it, and then it's going to show me what it found there. And it tells me, okay, I found one tab in the Excel that is meant to be printed out, I think. All right, perfect. So that's the sheet I want to work with, and I click on Next. And now, again, we're going to get a suggestion, and this suggestion now, as you can see, is completely different feature-wise from the one that we saw before. This time it doesn't say anything about contact lists or something like that. It says, okay, I found some charts, so maybe you want to build some kind of a dashboard or a calculation app maybe, and that's what I want to do. So I click on calculation and say next. And now I have the possibility to tell the server what the server should be doing with my Excel. So in order to do that, it's really simple. I just click on the cells that I'm interested in. And every time I click on one of these cells, on the left side in the preview of the app, a new element is added. Okay, and the important thing about these elements is that they behave exactly the way that the cells behave. So I'm just going to click on these cells here. The first four are variables, right? And the second four here are dependent variables, that is to say result cells. So, and as you can see here, the difference was recognized by, we can judge that by the background color. All the data types were recognized correctly. So you have some integers up there. You have a percentage, that would be quite tedious for a non-IT person to set up, because you need to make sure that this doesn't drop below 0, doesn't go above 100. This would be a drop down that was implemented here in the Excel. And these are currencies. So it's quite nice that all that has been recognized automatically. Just like the titles here were recognized correctly, even though I never clicked on them. So basically the problem was solved in Excel, by anybody in your company, and the logic of the app was defined just by clicking on 8 cells. And now the same thing with the themes, right? You defined a theme yourself in 10 minutes or something like that. Now you just click on the right theme. Let's take another one, a different one this time, and then you say next. Perfect. Now something interesting happens here. Number one, we're told here that this might be able to be optimized, the layout that we chose here. And we say, okay, show me what you can do for me. And now it looked for similar input cells here and told us, okay, you can group these. Okay, and I'm going to keep that. That looks pretty nice, I think. And then the wizard here tells us, okay, I found some charts. Okay, show me the charts. Perfect. These are the charts that I built in Excel, right? Again, the tool where everybody knows how to build charts. I built them, and now I can just import them. I'm just going to click on import here, and I want to add them to the same page. And then below my variables and result cells, I have some interactive charts that I can click on, that I can take a deeper look at if I want to, and that will react to all the changes that I make above them in the variable elements. And then here, if I click on print functionality, I can actually indicate which of the tabs of my Excel should be printed out if the user prompts the app to print something. Now, the second tab here was prepared especially for that purpose. So if I say, okay, offer, here is the print page, then the app will later on be printing exactly that. So that's fantastically easy. And now let me just finish off here by creating the app. That's the whole process. That's all it is. It's really, really simple, I think. And now let me just, because some of you probably already have some questions about security, let go back to the slides here and talk about that for a second. Now, the architecture of our solution is quite unique, so it's quite important to understand how this works. As you saw before, all we were doing here was basically defining XML code, right? So that would be this, the app definition. And together with the original spreadsheet, where you define the logic, where you define the visualizations, and where you input the data, this makes up an entire app. So that's all you need, right? Now, the cool thing is, and I'm going to switch to a more complicated slide now, but bear with me, you'll understand it in a second. The cool thing now here is that you can basically leave your spreadsheet wherever you want, like I mentioned before. The spreadsheet itself could be in your basement, on your server, as long as it is, from time to time accessible for the app, because of course you want the app to be uploading itself, right? You're all good. So you don't need to leave the spreadsheet in our cloud, or you don't even need to leave it in any kind of cloud if you don't want to. You can just leave it on premises if you choose to do that. The app definition itself, the XML that we defined in order to make sure that the app looks the way it should look, doesn't contain any of your data. It just contains information about the user interface. So basically it contains information like, okay, this cell here is an output cell and the background is blue. This cell is above the other cell and its background is white. Okay, that kind of information would be contained in the app definition, which is absolutely non-confidential, of course. The app creation process up here, this is basically the person who builds the apps and then rolls them out. The whole creation process can be carried out without productive data. That is very important to know. You can use scrambled data or just completely anonymized dummy data sheets to build your app. And then whenever you have rolled out your app to the end consumer of your app, you can do the first update using the real productive data. And that update is only going to be between your own storage solution and the device of your colleague or, the user of your app. So that way, we do not get in touch with your data at all. And I think that's very important to understand. If you have more questions about this, no problem. Please ask us any questions that you have. And we have documents, of course, on that topic, and we are happy to talk to you about these questions. So in general, I would like to sum up that we can use encryption, and we do use wherever we can, and you can even encrypt your own Excel sheets and password protect them if you want to. Your data is completely protected and you have all levels of security available to you. So you do not need to host anything in our cloud, and you can basically choose the place where your data will be hosted yourself. If you use our service, you are working on the European Azure cloud, which is quite a high standard of security. But like I said, you do not need to use your productive data when building the app. So that doesn't actually really matter. But just to tell you, when you're using the service, you are in the European Azure cloud. You could even migrate our service to your own Azure cloud, or if you want to be completely 100% on premises, you could probably even get it on premises if you use Azure Stack. But I wouldn't say that's necessary because you can basically just use dummy data. And then, of course, if you use MDM systems like Mobile Iron, for example, or BlackBerry Good or Dynamics, whatever you want to use, we can integrate our app into your system and take care of all security concerns that way. Just talk to us about it. We can basically give you all the security features that you would like to see. Of course, right now it's important to also mention GDPR. as you can see here, we are completely in compliance with the requirements of GDPR. And if you have any special requirements in that direction, please talk to us. If you have questions or in general anything you would like to tell us, please write us an email to info@opennessapp.net. And usually we are very, very quick with our answers. So don't hesitate and contact us. Okay, that was really, really quick, 30 minutes. I have much more to talk about, but I would like to thank you very much for listening. Have a pleasant evening, and I'm looking forward to talking to you. Thank you very much, and goodbye.